Hey guys, welcome again to my channel. In today's video you are going to be learning how constraint works in UIKit in Swift 5. Okay, so before we continue, please, if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for subscribing, and if you are new to this channel, please click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. So without further ado, let's dive straight to the code. So I'm going to be opening my Xcode now. Okay, so you can also do the same. Open your Xcode. Then we are going to be starting with a new project. So click on create a new Xcode project. So on clicking on that, what you need to do is to select the iOS, which is the iOS bar, and also select the app because it's our application we are working with. So click on next and give your app name. So I'm going to be naming this YouTube video, so let's just use that. So make sure your interface is storyboard, don't use Swift UI. It's not that Swift UI is not good, it's good, but what we're working on at the moment is storyboard. And select the language Swift, and yeah, you can just leave it as default, but what we are working with is UIKit, not really main storyboard. Okay, so click on next, and after that select the folder you want this to be saved. Click on create, and I believe that should be created for you. So as you can see, everything has been set up and we have this page. So what I'm going to do now is to drag this to the left hand side and take it down a bit so that it can fill my screen. Then after that I'm going to move down to the view.swift, that is the view page. So let me try to zoom my screen. I think zooming is Command plus. Okay, yeah, that works. So now as you can see, now my screen is now zoomed. So I click on the view controller.swift, which is the basic entry points for the startup application, that is the view did load. Okay, so now just take out this comment that we have here and let's start writing the code. But before I do anything, let's run this so that you see that it's an empty activity. So let me take out the side so that you can see it very well. So as you can see, it's an empty activity, like there's basically nothing there. So what we're going to do now is to remove this comment. Okay, so after that has been removed, then we're going to have a new comment that says create a new view. So within this place I'm going to be using a constant that is let, and we all know that variable is mutable while let is constant. So let my view equals to new instance declaration, that is UI view. So after the UI view has been declared, that has been assigned to my variable my view. Okay, so after my view is added, then what next do we need to do just to show the difference? So let's just try to set a background color. But if you set the background color now and we add it to the main view, it's not going to actually be displayed just because there's no height yet. So that's where the constraint comes in. But before that, let's try just put in the background. Okay, so I'm going to set background color. So background color. Okay, so here I'm going to have my view dot background color and equals to dot red. So I'm going to be using red, and after that has been set, then what we need to do is to remove the auto resizing. But before we remove auto resizing, let's just try to view it and see what happens. Okay, so view dot add subview, and the subview will be my view. So let's save this and use Command R to run it, or possibly you click on the play icon that we have here. Okay, so as you can see, it's displayed nothing. So what we're going to be bringing in now is the constraint. But before we use the constraint, we need to first of all disable a particular value, and that value is the auto resize. So here we're going to have remove auto resize. Okay, so removing auto resize will help us add our own custom resizing, that is the height, the top, the bottom, and core. Okay, so after the comment has been declared, then let's pass the value. So my view dot translate auto resizing marks into constraints. then let's set it to false so that we can use our own custom constraints, that is height and bottom and co. Okay, so after this is done, let's add a comment here, add sub view. Okay, so after the comment is declared, then we pass in the sub view, which is our view that we declared. So it is very, very important to declare your constraints right after your view has been applied. So don't practice a situation whereby you have to declare your constraint before passing the view. It is just best to have it in this layout. Okay, so just follow what I'm doing. So here now we're going to have set constraint array. So we're going to be setting the arrays of constraint that we want to use. So here we have let constraint equals to arrays of constraints. Then within this constraint array data, we are going to be setting our constraint data itself. So here we are going to be determining the top, that is the top anchor. So we are going to have my view dot top anchor dot constraint. So constraint this to equals to the view, that is the super view, and at the same time setting your own constraint or setting your own constant value so that it can merge it together. So that's just the best way to do it. So this NS layout anchor that we are targeting, we are going to be targeting the parent view, that is this view that we have here. So we are going to have it as view dot top anchor, that is the top anchor that view is coming with the default anchor that it has for the top anchor. Okay, select that, and the constant that you want to alter with, so let's alter it with, let's say 10 for an instance. So I will just show you how it works once we are done. So after the top has been set, then the next one that we need to set now is the left side of the card, that is this view data that we are setting. So the left area, so let's have it as left side. Just check what I'm doing. So the left side is going to be my view dot leading. The leading anchor is for the left edge, okay. So leading anchor dot constraint, so the same constraint to equals to the view dot leading anchor, then set it to let's just have it as 16 for an instance, and let's just continue so that you understand how it's going. After the left is defined, then we need to define the right side. So defining the right side of the constraint will be my view dot trailing. So trailing anchor dot constraint, then select equals to the view dot trailing anchor, and set your own constant data, which will be minus 16. So you might be thinking, why am I using minus 16? Don't worry, by the time the visual comes up, you are going to understand it clearly. Okay, so give it a comma, and the next one we're going to be passing now is the height, which is the placeholder where data is being displayed, just like in our div. People that are coming from HTML background, that is web development, you have your div where you have the top, the left, and the right, and also the bottom. So and we also set height in div in HTML, so something similar to that. So now after the height comment is declared, and the next we are going to do is my view dot height anchor. So we need to target the height anchor, then the constraints also do the same thing, equals so sorry, I think this, okay, so sorry, height anchor doesn't have equals to the view, so it is actually equals to constant. So let's go with equals to constant. I was actually looking for that. So it's going to be equals to its own personal defined height, that is the height you defined for it. So in this case, we are not really targeting the super view, that is the view or trailing. I was actually looking for the equals to our super view and define our own constants. But in this case, it is height. The height is determined by the view it has nothing to do with our view, our super view. That is the super view itself. It has nothing to do with the super view. This is the super view. So this height is concerned to the guy only. That is this UI view declaration. So let's now set our height to, let's say, the height of 100 for an instance. Okay, so after the height has been declared, has been set, then the next thing is to push our NX layout constraints to an activate mode. So here we're going to have activate constraints, because at the moment we just declare it is not activated. So we have NS layout constraints dot activate. So what are we activating? We're activating the array of constraints that we have. Then after that has been done, then we can run the application and we can see what we've done so far. Then I can explain deeper and also show you some explanation on how this really works. So I'm going to click on Command R to reload the application so that you get to display. Now, as you can see, we have our box displayed for us on the screen, but it is outside the safe area. So what we need to do for that box now is to drop it down. So that is where the explanation comes into. So as you can see, we have the top. So for the top anchor, we're going to change the top anchor to 120. So if I change it to 120 and I reload, we are going to see that it's going to drop down. Can you see it drop down? If I change it to 200, you're going to see the difference. So the top is for the top placement of your view. Okay, so but I would prefer we go with 120. I think 120 is better. Okay, as you can see, we have it in 120. Now the leading anchor, I said it's for the left side, so let's change the leading anchor to 0 and see the difference. So setting it to 0 takes the entire margin out in HTML. That is, in web development, it is called margin. So the margin is now 0. As you can see, it is now off. Everything has moved to the left hand side. So changing it back to 16 will help us return it back to the normal stage that you really want the data to be. So you can set it. You can set anything there. You can set 10. So it's not really defined to 16. You can set 10. As you can see, it's not in 10. But let's go with 16. Reload, and that is going to load data for us. So the same applies to the right side. So without this -16, you're going to see, let's just take it out and set it to 0 so that you can see what is really happening. So setting it to 0, you see what really happened. And if I set it to, let's say I set it to 10, is also still going to move more down to the other side. But instead of doing that, that's where we introduce the negative value. Now setting negative value is going to bring it back, as you can see. So let's now return it back to 16, then reload it so that it can display very well. Cool. So after that, then we have the height. So let's change the height to 200 so that you see what we have in the height. So as you can see, the height is now 200. If I change the height to 300, you see the difference. So the height is now what? 300. Okay, so let's return the height back to 100. So click on save, Command R. Okay, so now we have it in 100. So the same applies to bottom. You can also set bottom to match the view bottom anchor, which is possible. Height is for self, while bottom can mimic the super view. So let's check out the bottom. So using bottom, that will be my view dot bottom anchor dot constraints. So equals to constant. So equals to view dot bottom anchor, and the constant that we're going to be using is let's use 200 so that you see the difference. So it's going to first of all match the view bottom anchor, that is going to inherit it. Oh, sorry, I didn't put comma. So put comma here after your declaration. Can you see the command over here? Cool. So after this bottom anchor is declared and it's displayed, is first of all going to match this and later pass in my constant value. Okay, so let's run it and see what we have. So Command R, or you use the play icon. So as you can see, it matched the entire space that we have due to the inheritance we have for the equals to this bottom super view bottom anchor. I will set our one constant to 200. So adding the 200 add more constant value to the existing view bottom anchor. So that is what we have here. There's an addition of 200 which allows this current bottom anchor grow even more than we can imagine. So what we can do now to solve this problem is to subtract from what we have here. So the existing value that we have here, we need to subtract the value that we are bringing in, that is minus 200, and if I reload, you are going to see that it's going to work. So as you can see, minus 200 words reduce it, and if I change it to minus 300, you are still going to see the value. So as you can see, we have it what minus 300, which is amazing. So after that has been declared, let's now try to just display text inside this box, because at the moment we currently do not have any view inside the box. It's just a box standing there without anything. So I'm going to now set a text label. Okay, so here we have text, just text. I think text is good. It's still the same thing as label. So here we have let's text label. Okay, so let's text label equals to UI label, and close your declaration, and let's let's also remove the auto resizing just as we have it there. So remove auto resize. Okay, so here is going to be text label. Let me take it up a bit. Dots translate auto resizing marks into constraint equals to false, and after that has been declared, then set the value. So setting the value will be text label dot text equals to hello world. Then let's add an exclamation mark. Then after that, we have the text color, because we currently in background of red. So text label dot text color, then equals to dot white, to set it to white color. Then after that, let's add it to my view. So within this place, I'm going to have my view dot add subview of text label. Good. Then after that has been added, then all we need to do is to just run it and see if it's going to what it's going to show. So click on Command R or use the play icon, and let's see if that is going to work. So as you can see, it actually worked. It displayed the top left corner, which is the edge area. So but we want to centralize it to the middle, just to just to set a focus on it. So let's now do that. So as we discussed earlier, subview should be declared, then after that you can pass in your constraints. So I'm going to pass constraints of this text label. Okay, so set text label constraints. Okay, so within this place I'm going to have let label constraint equals to an array. Then within this array declaration, I'm going to have the text label, that is center. We're going to do two things: center X and center Y. So center X anchor. So within this place, I'm going to have text label dot center X anchor. So the center X anchor dot constraint. So we are going to be constraining this just equals to our main view. We are not going to be setting any constants. Okay, so just equals to only. So equals to our main view, the view that we are actually trying to constrain into, the view that has this red background, which is our guy here. So copy the value and let's pass it down to the constraint to our view dot center X anchor. So it's going to match the center X anchor that we currently have in our my view. After that is done, then we need the word center Y. So the center Y also needs to be passed. So within this place, I'm going to have text label dot center Y anchor dot constraint equals to what my view dot center center Y anchor rather. So after that is done, click on save, and don't forget we need to activate this constraint because yet it's not going to do anything. We haven't activated it. So activate constraint. Okay, so within this place I'm going to use ns layout constraint dot activate. So activating the constraint is going to be the constraint that we declared over here. Label what constraint, pass it inside the word the activate, which is the arrays of constraints that we have. So click on save, Command R, and let's run that. Let's see what we have in our screen. So as you can see, we have our text sitting down in the middle of our view, which is amazing. So if we change this color to black, I'm gonna see it. Command R, and that is going to load up and see the value. Isn't that amazing? So I hope this short tutorial teaches you how constraint works in UIKit Swift 5. Okay, so and if you have any suggestion video, you can drop it in the comments, and if you need any other information related to what I've just discussed, you can also comment in the video, and I will do my best to give a better explanation if you are confused in any ways within this video. Okay guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this current video. Please do like, share with your friend, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you guys in my next video. Bye.